Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. There is hope, and the new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zones. Today, we are here again to discuss the things that are happening in Nigeria. As you know, that the CJN, that is the Chief Justice of the Federation, Kekere Ekun, has clearly said that she's going to fight corruption in the judiciary. But more pronounced is the assurance that she gave to the senators, especially Akpabio, who brought up the question that she is going to social media critics on the judiciary. That means that first day on her job as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, she has vowed to deal with the social media. Now I want to have this very discussion with our own people who are here to, of course, deliberate on these very issues to actually understand the intricacies, the reasons behind the first assurance that she had to give the Nigerian Senate has to be about dealing with the judiciary. As you know now that we cannot remove bad leaders through the ballot that has been displayed in Edo State. And also, we also know that they don't resign. No leader in Nigeria has been able to resign. And now that the military and police supervise violence and thuggery during our election, that was also evident in Edo State. The judiciary, that happens to be the last hope of the common man, is now empowered to endorse all these criminalities in our elections. What is the next step? With me to have these discussions, I have Mr. Bassi from Calabar Municipal, I have Tony Oji from the Coal City Enugu, and of course, Akok Christian from Niger State. Guys, welcome to Obidient Family Hope Alive series. Let's start this discussion with this very issue of corruption in the judiciary that the CJN seems not to endorse to tackle, but rather to tackle and deal with the social media discussions. Let's listen to what Dr. Sam Amadi said about the CJN and the other things arising thereof. Let's listen to that. Very 1 minute, and then we get into the discussion.
We should be very clear about this welfare thing. I mean, judges are not the worst paid people, so it's not an excuse for corruption. Secondly, stopping interference. The first thing you should do is to take back the judiciary from the executives. For example, start with new by-year commencement. We shouldn't be having politicians and judges commingle so easily. I mean, that's the thing you have to stop.
So back to the Nigerian system and the criminal justice system and the Supreme Court appointment. So let me start with Mr. Bassi. Mr. Bassi, let's get straight to the point here, where the CJN has already threatened the social media critics that any threat from the social media will be dealt with. And of course, we have several people who are using social media to criticize, including us, on what they are doing at judiciary. There is no saying Nigeria will disagree that there is corruption at the highest level of our judiciary, which is the Supreme Court. She is coming on board, not minding the fact that she had been blocked from the United States of America as a result of a judgment that she gave, being a justice of the Supreme Court. Now she is clearly coming to vow and intimidate us, not just us, but people, whether Arise TV and all other TVs, because they are all on the social media, not to talk about issues, especially as we have noticed what happened in Edo State. Does that mean that we can no longer even tell them what is wrong using the medium that is before us as a social media? Mr. Bassi.
come to act the script, and she has hit the ground running from day one. And suffice to note that she has not just she's not just trying to gag the social media or the media. She's also trying to gag the lawyers. Recall during that screening session, she did mention that even lawyers who condemn court judgment will be dealt with. So that clearly tells you where we are going. We have descended to a dictatorial state where people don't have the right to challenge anomaly in the system. And it's unfortunate that we still don't even have enough people in the judiciary to withstand or to stand against some of these what will I call perceived destruction of the rule of law in our nation. And where are the likes of the FRA Williams? Don't we still have the likes of Justice Okuta anymore in the judiciary? Because I believe that with the exit of those icons, they still have people who were their mentee in their good old days. Why are we allowing these people to destroy our justice system, all because they want to favor a certain clique? And it's a sad day for judiciary. I do know that we have some few outspoken legal minds who have been standing against some of this, the action of some of the justices, the likes of Professor Odinkalu, the likes of Sam Amadi, a whole lot of them. This is the time for them to rise up and resist every attempt to gag the legal system, the judiciary. Because if they allow that to happen, and it means we have lost everything about this nation. So it's not just about the social media, like I said. She has it's a plan to totally clamp down on the entire nation, so that people cannot even speak against those evil judgments that have been coming out of some of our court system. So I feel sorry.
Mr. Bassi, I want to get your opinion clearly on this, because from this very short that we just watched, we see Sam Amadi, whom you just mentioned, they are clearly saying that there is clear corruption in the judiciary. There is corruption in the judiciary. Now, he said that the CJN, Kekerekun, can restore the judiciary by first admitting that the judiciary at the highest level of Supreme Court is corrupt. What is your take on that?
She will not restore it. That's why I said she had hit the ground running in a wrong direction from day one. One would have expected her to make a categorical statement concerning the corruption in the judiciary. But rather than doing that, she's diverting attention to area that has nothing to do with the judiciary. So it clearly tells you that she's not out to sanitize judiciary, but rather she's about gagging the people who are speaking against the ills in the judiciary system. So we shouldn't expect anything better. And from the direction she's going, she's heading the wrong direction. And I want all the civil society, the lawyers, and all concerned Nigerians to rise up now that is at the early stage and begin to fight some of these anomalies and restore back the rule of law in our judiciary, in our legal system. Thank you.
Okay. The other question I want to ask you again before you go has to deal with, you have talked about people to speak up, like you mentioned, the likes of Odinkalo and of course Sam Amadi and co. But you clearly see that there are people who are not speaking up in Nigeria, especially as this very PMS price, that is the fuel, has gone up to this very high, and they keep talking in riddles. And we also have a disturbing illustration from Osifo, who happens to be the trade union person who came out in Channels TV to actually state that, of course, that Dangote may not be making profit as at now. But I know you are an industry expert as far as these PMS issues and crude is concerned. Of course, can't you summarize to let our audience and Nigerians know, as you have informed me earlier, that a barrel of crude oil has the potential to come out for free for Nigerians if Dangote chooses to turn to go that route?
Thank you. First of all, I've always been saying that everything about the petroleum sector, both the downstream and the upstream, has been shrouded in secrecy. And like I've always said, up till this moment, Nigerians have not been told what it costs to produce a liter of petrol. How do you arrive at your costing when you cannot come up with your production costs? And then you just come out and brandish a price that you don't know how you arrive at that level. Secondly, until we are able to determine our true consumption daily, we will continue to run around this circle year in, year out. For Osifo, I don't know why he chose to do what he did. I guess he was trying to promote some people's interests. Because if you truly consult the expert in the industry who are supposed to be speaking, and unfortunately, such people are not speaking. So, and a barrel of Bonny Light can give Nigeria at least 24 derivative minimum. Now, if you say you want to at least subsidize
that there is a cartel in the oil and gas industry,
there shouldn't be any issue why you said you are producing at a loss. Even if you want to give fuel out at maybe at a cost, and the cost we are even talking about, we need to know what that cost is. And the only person that can tell us the cost of production is Dangote as it stands. But he has been very economical in bringing out that information. But he will be quick to tell Nigerians that, oh, it is high time we remove fuel subsidy, just like the Saudi Arabia. So, if I'm not saying he should do business at a loss, but at the same time, he cannot recover the cost of building his refinery in 1 year and 2 years. He should be mindful of the fact that the cost recovery for his investment should be in between 4 or 5 years. So trying to recover a cost in 1 year means that you are going to put a further burden on Nigerians. You are going to shortchange Nigerians. You are going to take advantage of Nigerians because you want to recover your costs and pay off your debts. That is not acceptable. Nigerians should resist this Dangote, as it stands, has the potential of giving out petroleum, if not for free, but at least at half what he's selling today, half the price of what he's selling today. We are looking at about maybe 300-400 naira per liter. So at least at that point, we can still say, okay, he can still make his profit and then do his business, pay his staff, run his overhead, and do all of those things. But we all know that these people, their interest is not towards that, the Nigerian people. They are only out to ensure that they make Nigeria to suffer the most. Why do you go about making Nigeria to suffer? In one leg, you are giving out rice to Nigerians. They say, okay, you are doing philanthropic gesture through your foundation. And in the other way around, you are selling at a very exorbitant rate. So it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. So that's what it is. You are giving them on this side, you are taking from the other side. It doesn't make sense. So I want to, he should be very, very sincere with Nigerians and ensure that Nigerians have the benefit. This is the same refinery that we were just anxiously waiting for the refinery to commence production. And the funniest part of it is that he has used Nigerians to whip sympathy. Nigerians were supporting him even when government were trying to, shortchange him. Now that he has used Nigerians to fight his fight, this is the time for him to pay back and ensure that he does not shortchange Nigerians. Make sure that Nigerians have fuel at a very reasonable rate, not what they are selling at the moment. That is what I say. I'm not asking him, I'm not agitating for him to sell at a loss, but at the same time, he should not over profiteer in selling his product, but he should come down to a reasonable level such that Nigerians will have the benefit of having a refinery for the first time producing in Nigeria. That is my take on this.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Basi. Let me quickly jump to Tony to get your view on this. Tony, like I said earlier, now that we cannot remove the bad leadership that is occupying different states through the ballot system, even the LG elections that is going on across the country right now, we know that the governors are all rigging them. And we also see that in Nigeria, they can't even resign. And also, we have come to realize that the military and the police supervise the violence and the thuggery that goes on into any election, as they were deployed in Edo State. Okay, now that a new CJN is here, the judiciary is also emboldened, empowered to endorse the criminalities. And that's why most people like Olumide Akpata in Edo is not even contemplating going to court. Like Dino Melaye has given up even going because he understands the system. What is next for us Nigerians, Mr. Tony?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kanu, for having me. Welcome, active citizens and obedience out there. It's a very tough question, really, because like Farutimi once said, that we can't escape this situation through ballots, through voting, through campaigns. It requires something different. And if you look at it honestly, you clearly see that he's on point. There is the situation now in this country where a certain group or groups of people have captured our system. And they have constituted what we call the deep state. It is difficult, it's very, very difficult in this country at this point to shake off this system they have here now. They call it democracy. But do we actually practice democracy in this country? They've just used democracy to enrich themselves and their friends and their families, and the rest of us can go to hell. They don't care. The CJN is talking just like her predecessor also talked about corruption, eliminating corruption. But if you look at it really, you find out that why did Tinubu rush to swear the CJN in before even she was cleared by the Senate? Normally, what they should do is even before the previous CJ, before his time was up, to start interviewing this new CJ, so that by the time the other guy resigns, they will have cleared every hurdle, and then the president will swear her in. But they didn't do that. Why? Everything is all planned and cooked up within this deep state. They know themselves. The judiciary is there. The executive is there. The House of Rep and Senate, they're all there. This clique cannot be dismantled by voting. They've captured the state. It requires extraordinary effort, really, to be able to snatch it back for the people of this country. So we are in trouble. I'm not expecting anything good to come out of this CJ, honestly speaking. If you look at her president, Ariwole, I think his name is Ariwole, the person, CJ. Look at what he did. His family members were put in strategic positions in the judiciary. The crooked politicians are putting their wives and brothers and sisters in the judiciary. For what? To do what? To protect them. They're now part of the deep state. Everything revolves around them. Look at eminent lawyers that should be appointed as judges.
Mr. Tony, I was looking at you from, the question of what is next. Judging from the fact that even protesting has been criminalized for people who say that it's revolution and the likes. If protest is already criminalized in Nigeria and the courts are dishing out orders to every court, they're already planning against this end Fearless in October protest that is being organized by Shawara and Take It Back Niger to get orders against protest. So if protesting is criminalized and we cannot also remove leader through the ballot, what next?
I don't even think a revolution now is capable of doing it. Because Nigerians, as you all know, can be bought with cash. All they need to do is spread cash, grab the state fund and spread it around, and everybody will keep quiet. So we are really in big, big trouble in this country. I cannot say for sure what the solution is or will be, because I've looked at it on the streets to orchestrate this revolution that is required. So that is set aside now. Balloting is now set aside. What is left? What is left is now for you to judge. But we are in soup, great hot soup, and we are not going anywhere. And these people have engaged in development of underdevelopment. Nobody talks. They're borrowing money here and there. They're not investing in industrialization. They're just building. They continue to build roads. Every regime that comes will build roads. What are you going to do with roads? It doesn't give people employment. Roads doesn't give people employment. Look at all the graduates coming out in our institutions. No jobs around. Focus on industrialization. Focus on things that will employ people. You can chew gum and run at the same time. As we build roads, invest this borrowed money in productive economy. And forget about all these projects which they use to siphon money, particularly the state governors. They will not describe to the citizens their game plan when they win elections. When they now come in, they start building elephant projects. By the time they finish, most of them will be abandoned. They've used it to siphon money into their pockets and their friends' pockets, and will be left crying. That's it, not the way forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Tony. Let me quickly jump to Christian. Christian asked this in a different way because I sense that when I talk about the judiciary, the CJN clearly has threatened the media, the social media, of course, the media as a whole. And we see that happening. But the other thing that I keep asking has to deal with endorsement of election criminalities. If you watch now, in many states in the Federation, they are conducting local government elections. And aftermath of the autonomy that the Supreme Court gave to local governments. But then, the criminalities that is happening, that we are seeing that happened in Enugu State, we see that happen in Imo State, we see that happen in several other states, including the Edo that just ended. There was criminality in those LG elections. And of course, Anambra State, the home base of His Excellency P2B, is going to have one this Saturday. Now, they keep seeing these criminalities happen in different local governments, and they are not talking about it. It seems to have been, they are emboldened. The governors of each state seeks to capture their states. And so these are the criminalities I'm talking about, be endorsed by the judiciary, by the Nigerians elite, and all of that. My question is, what is the next thing for us to do? Because the advocacy of His Excellency P2B is that the process that should bring you in should be excellent. But Nigeria seems to be drifting away from all of that. Edo has opened our eyes that even the people that you trust the most, Edo Nedo carry last, happens to have to become a disappointment. Please, what is your take on what is next for us to go? Which road do we follow going forward?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kanu. Thank you, the Zoom panelists and listeners across the social media platform. For anybody to expect anything good from this government, then that person is not serious. You don't expect good governance from thief. His Excellency, the former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, has summed it up that thieves don't give good governance. And that is the truth of the matter, because the approach, the crude approach of taking what does not belong to them is what they will implement across board. The boldness from 2023 has been test run in Edo, and it worked out. So going forward, don't expect any credible election. Don't even expect it. So I expect that every candidate and political party should boycott any futuristic election until a reform that is people is conducted and implemented. Without reform taking place, then the only available option is to go tooth and nail with the approach they are using. We either mobilize our supporters to resist them as they come into the polling unit to share their filthy monies. You resist them head on. Otherwise, it's a loose game already. Because
okay, but supposing
the APC,
sorry to interject, supposing we empower our people, or we empower the active Nigerians in different LGs, or with this our own cooperative societies, at least to put them into an agricultural projects across the whole local government, thereby empowering their welfare. Do you think if we have active projects in agriculture across the whole local government in Nigeria, and when the time of election comes, do you still think that they will leave what is providing food for them for a while to take between the 5K and the 10K that we experience in Edo State?
I still believe that we have an ample window for Obidient to still drive along. It's left for us to utilize it. For instance, this Obidient Family Cooperative Society is registered across all LGAs. It's been registered rather across all LGAs in Nigeria. We've registered quite a number already, over 80 already registered across Nigeria. And if we can sustain the momentum, and instead of this idle money in the center, where the likes of Abure assess it and spent it the way they want without really focusing it on the movement, if such idle money can be channeled to support our people at the grassroots, then there will be this sense of belonging, and I believe Obedience we generously donate to this same project, even at the grassroots level. And by the time this money through the cooperative is channeled into agricultural production, engagements, animal husbandry, these are good projects. If we can channel in very little resources in this regard, we'll get a commendable outcome. We'll get a good result. There's what we call hope. Hope drives people to carry on. By the time they see the results of the first year investment, they'll be encouraged to do more. The laborers will be encouraged to give in more of their energy. Of course, they are being paid. So it will serve as a source of livelihood for them while driving the movement at the grassroots level. So it's a very unique window which has to be utilized by the Obidient movement. We need to key into this aspect and reach out to Obidient at the grassroots directly. Throughout 2023, the movement have evolved around the metropolitan city. Now it is time to take it to the grassroots, to the LGAs. They need to feel the impact of the Obidient movement and know that what we have been explaining to them theoretically is being practicalized through the Obidient Family Cooperative Society.
All right, thank you, Christian. Thank you so much. So I believe what Mr. Christian has put on the table is that the cooperatives, the Obidient Family Cooperative Society is another vehicle which we can explore at this time, especially as we already have an interim national coordinator who can look at that very particular project. If we are able to set up project that is agricultural in nature, which of course our principal, His Excellency P2B, has always advocated from production, from consumption to production. So if we are able to initiate those projects across the 774 local governments in Nigeria, I believe that when the time comes for people to collect that very bribery that they call decision on that day, they will look back and they see that there will be no need to do that, because you have to care much about the people. Thank you so much, my discussants, Mr. Basi, thank you, Mr. Tony, and of course, Christian Oche. At this very point, we just have to call it a day and look at tomorrow to see what is on the take and what is trending that will be coming up with. I know the people that are preparing for Fearless in October has already specified the locations according to the states where they are going to have this very protest, and they are currently mobilizing. I know of this Action AAC party who has come out to endorse the Fearless in October protest, and I see a lot of people who are actually joining the call for that very protest. So, however, our advocacy is for any protest happening in Nigeria to be peaceful, and for people who feel aggrieved with the policies of the Tinubu-led government to come out and, of course, view theirs, irrespective of the court orders that will come. Because, as we know, the judiciary has already endorsed election criminalities, and they are not going to go back from the policies of Chief Bola Tinubu, who happens to appoint the Chief Justice of Nigeria of recent, not minding the issues at her background. So nobody is expecting something different. So I want to also thank our viewers and telling you that we will continue to bring you updates on what is going on with the Obidient movement, as we have aligned with the national coordinator of the Obidient movement worldwide, Dr. Yunus Satanko. We'll keep you updated also of that very meeting that Dr. Tanko has called for Abuja on Saturday, and he said that this very meeting is going to be in Abuja, but you could join virtually, and he did a tweet on that. You could go to his X handle to get details of that very meeting, a call for obedience, that even if you are not available, you could fill the form on that. And another one on the 30th, if the obedience meeting in Kanu State, that is said to be a massive gathering of all the northern state obedience, especially the people in Kanu State, which he announced yesterday. So until tomorrow, we keep bringing you all of these very updates. But again, now that Judiciary has endorsed the election criminality across the LGAs, across the states in Nigeria, what is next? Go to comment section. Tell us what you think about all of this. Until tomorrow, we'll come back again. Bye for now.